Anyway, so I did decide to make another video here. If you see this here, I did upload it. We'll see. Maybe a shorter one. I say that every time, and it never is. But anyways, if you didn't watch the last video, being a little bit more quieter and stuff like that. Family's asleep. I'm upstairs, and just kind of chilling a little bit before bed. And anyways, I just suggest watching at least the first few minutes of the last one, stuff like that. Kind of understand things a bit better. But if not, then just listen to this one here and it's chill. And I didn't talk about any of this shit that I'm going to talk about. Just kind of why I'm here, what's been going on, crazy shit. But it's my ideas for the channel and stuff like that. And the help of a viewer. So thank you for that. Make sure this news going good. So yeah, slimming down on my list a little bit. It's front and back on like 2 pages, and I've got like the front and part of the back done on one of them. I mean, there's always going to be more topics that kind of come up that I write down that I want to talk about and stuff. And also, these are topics I can always revisit down the line whenever I kind of get more information or like a better way of explaining them set up, I feel like. But anyway, so just to kind of go ahead and get on into this, what I want to talk about in this one is that just how hard it is to search for anything anymore. Like online, mainly, right? I don't really know like what's going on. I have some ideas and stuff like that. Like I say, the whole AI thing is like kind of the bandwagon that everybody's jumping on with and stuff. It's like kind of crazy and shit. By the way, if you see me digging, it's like my middle back is like itching. It's kind of that cold and hot, weather. House is warm. Wall is a little cool because there's like the outside wall. But yeah, so like I was trying to find some information about some stuff here and there. And this is talking about like not if I'm like looking up something about like a video game. If I look up something about a video game, I can usually find it. Like but it just depends. One thing that seems to be the case with a lot of things, and this here isn't necessarily good or bad, but like old forums is like the best place to find anything like vehicle wise, right? Like if you're having to work on a vehicle and stuff like that. And then you have like questions sometimes about video games or sometimes about like something that's a little bit more of a modern topic. There's usually like a link that you can find if you Google it, like for a Reddit post or something you can check out. But about that out there. But anyways, so like if you're trying to look up something about like some real information, some true shit, you're trying to get to the bottom of something, whether if it's like occult or it could be like history wise, political, or anything that's like not the given narrative, right? It's just so hard to search that stuff anymore and to come up with anything. Used to, you could find some stuff, like even though it's kind of like shrouded in like bullshit that you had to go through and stuff, for that. But like, I think we're getting to a point in time. Oh yeah, I wanted to make the point about the AI. Is like that's kind of been like going on forever, right? Like to me, AI is just first of all, I mean, governments have had it for fucking forever, right? They just release it to the public to make stupid videos and funny. I mean, not all stupid. Some was funny, like the cat videos and shit, but um, just stuff like that for people to play around with and to make it like kind of a bigger deal and to kind of like enshroud like what is reality, what isn't. So it's therefore kind of hard to differentiate and stuff. And yeah, we're kind of at this point now where this content is labeled AI generated or something like that. But at some point, that's going to go away, and there's going to be so much AI content that's out there, and it's going to get reposted as legit. Like there's just a like what's crazy about AI is it's kind of like the used to. And this here is like just people making shit or doing stuff, whatever, right? Just people that don't really know um, why it is a bad thing. Because at some point in the future, again, all these videos are going to be like on the internet and stuff, right? And to try to search out some like real shit, um, it's going to be really hard because again, these things are going to get reposted. It's going to be like shrouded in is this reality? Is it not? We're already seeing some of that already, and then like the misinformation used to be like, oh, you can't trust this source or this source or this source for any type of news or legitimate like history if you're trying to dive into like alternative history or things of that nature and stuff, right? Um, but um, now with this here, the misinformation, people are doing it to themselves, right? Because you're putting all this shit out there, and it's going to get to a point where like the AI looks even better than it does now, so you're really not going to be able to tell. Um, and like it's just I don't know, it's just really kind of sucky to see that we're headed towards that direction, and AI has been around in different forms, right? Um, where you've been able to manipulate images and videos and things like that, right? I mean, you could go back to something, I mean, it's still kind of even recent for this, but like the moon landing, or you go back to even these older like movies and stuff like that they were doing, or you could say things like, um, I was actually telling my wife the story about this today. She hasn't watched The Crow yet, and I haven't watched it in 15 years or some shit, but got it on DVD, really fuck with it, but I just don't watch movies much, right? Um, just mostly anime. But anyways, excuse me. With Crow, how they finished it up with like special effects and stunt double and stuff like that. Like, we're to a point now where like you could literally like kind of face swap everybody out or whatever, right? Like even just a normie could do that with like this technology that's been like given to them. Not to mention all the data centers and stuff like that. I've noticed that they're even upgrading the power station out here and stuff. And I live literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's really crazy to see. I hate to see that. Like, I get so worried about all this stuff, too. It's like I move out to the middle of nowhere and I can't be fucking, like, left alone, Like, I'm going to be in debt for a decent portion of my life and stuff, over kind of accumulating some property and stuff out here and to be away from all this. But it's like, really like that, I always talk about like how I like black metal and stuff like that, but I do like some other stuff every now and again. But like that Leonard Skinner song, I like the Alabama Thunder Pussy cover probably just as much. But it's I'm so tired I can't even think of the name of the song. But it's like that lyric of you see the concrete slowly creeping, um, and it's crazy. I remember getting so mad when they built a Dollar General within like 25 or well actually more like 20 minutes of the house, which to me is kind of, I guess it's stupid to think now, whatever, but it's true to a certain extent. Um, man, I cannot remember the name of that song. I think it's off the "Give Me Back My Bullets" album, or the album that was on. I can't remember. I'm not brushed up on all my boomer music too much, but anyways, So it's just getting hard to search stuff. You don't really know what's legit and what's not. Also, like search engines seem to be like super altered and stuff as well. Because again, you just can't Google something and get it to pull up, even if you're not supposed to view it or not. You know, it still pull up if you had the right keywords in. Then they have all of these online like censorship acts and stuff like that, which everybody's, they're doing it under the guise of like porn. I mean, essentially, right? But it encompasses so much more. And there's been like some people that's been arrested for like wrong think and stuff like that in these other countries and stuff. And it's just sad to see all that because it's kind of coming and stuff at some point, um, as well. And then like I don't know, it's just so hard to find any information and stuff anymore. And I know I keep repeating that, but I think if load up on your printer ink. I mean, this is what I would do if I had more time and funds, and I'm going to regret that I'm not doing it, right? Um, but if anybody has the ability, if you have like a printer and a lot of copy paper and a lot of ink, I'd print off some books that are like at least like the necessary ones and stuff that you can um, have hard copies of. Because I do believe that certain like at some point, this is definitely way farther down the line, but at some point we're going to get to where the internet's just all bullshit, and then you're going to have a lot of people kind of reverting back to books and stuff, right? Um, kind of like how a lot of people just reverted back to like old vehicles and stuff like that because the new ones are just so fucking bullshitty and stuff. Um, and I mean, not everybody. Like the the NPCs, the normies, they don't care, they don't know, but they never did know or they never did care either, right? So my point that I'm trying to make here is, there's any books with some really good information, or at least just type up some information that you have and stuff like that, and try to print off hard copies and stuff of it. Um, it's something that me and my wife has talked about more and more. Is we don't need to let this information that we have amassed so far die with us. We need to, um, whether well, I'm definitely writing that one book about NPCs and stuff like that, um, but we may both get into, excuse me, authoring kind of more books and stuff as well. And I think that book collecting is going to be important. But there's so much bullshit in books and stuff too, though. Is which I may do a video at some point, kind of talking about some books I feel like are important for people to get, and or at least are interesting. Maybe not necessarily in this context, but some of them would be ones that they're ridiculously high because they're just reselling, they're out of print or whatever, right? But there's going to be some information you're gonna want to keep, and like I say, keep hard copies of, and also like I say, write up some papers or do whatever, and just print off some information. If you're like me and your brain is just always hopping from one thing to the other, and you just can't uh, you just can't give a thought. Like I always talk about information retention. I just have such a hard time with that, right? So, uh, but yeah, I'd recommend anybody to do that if you can. Also, I do want to mention, I've been on TikTok a little bit more here recently. I kind of didn't like it. I mean, there for a long time, and I mean, still don't necessarily because there's just a bunch of stupid shit on there. But at the same point, though, like it's kind of one platform where you just can get on there and you can hear people talk about some real shit every now and again, and I feel like that's important because it's kind of nice having it on like a platform such as that. Because I mean, obviously YouTube's been like decimated, and you know, I don't mention a lot of things and stuff just because I'm on here, and then there's some people that I watch and stuff like YouTubers that have some good information and stuff like that, but it's like it's just kind of hard they can't talk about certain things, um, because obviously they'll get kicked off. And then also, like, if they do talk about some stuff, they have to like shroud it in a bunch of keywords and just make it kind of fucking hard to follow and stuff like that. Um, but some of them do a decent job and stuff like that as well. But anyways, though, we've seen this over the past, like, I would say coming up, well, 2016, I'd say a decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, for sure, just seeing like YouTubers and stuff like that, like getting kicked off and like things like that happening over time. And it's just been really, it's been pretty rough. Like, with all the good information and stuff that's gotten lost and stuff like that, from these people that kind of made it their job to do research and stuff. So, but yeah, if you have the ability and the time, type some shit out. Just type up some key points and stuff like that to like jog your memory with. If nothing else, like if you don't have a lot of ink or paper, um, do that. But if you have the ability, I mean, just buy some fucking staples and a stapler and like say paper and ink. Just print off fucking books. Because I'm all about like the idea of not necessarily like Bogart knowledge and putting it behind a paywall or anything, and but just having it out there and being able to access it. But there's a lot of good shit you can get online, like say for free. Open it up like PDFs and stuff, and just print it out if you wanted to. Um, but anyways, yeah. So I don't know what I'll title this video or anything. But yeah, main thing is though, shit's getting a lot harder to search for. It's only going to get worse, and we've trust me. If anybody's a little bit younger watching this, I've seen this happen for the past decade, especially whenever I was kind of first getting into everything. But yeah, just try to keep what you can, you know, because if you're not like jogging your brain with this certain stuff, because this, at least for me, which I'm kind of surrounded by and have been for the past decade for the most part, but I've had some different times where I've had some differing opinions and stuff. Certain things I'm always evolving. I feel like that's important, but you know, uh, if you're not like exercising your brain on some of this stuff, where it all gets lost, and you're like, oh well, the person I went to on YouTube that had a lot of this information, they're gone, so I don't get to check it out anymore and stuff like that. And if you don't like transition to being able to watch something else or listen to something else or find the information elsewhere because they lost their account or whatever, sometimes you can kind of slip back into that normalcy, and kind of being awakened to these certain things can be very hard, and it can be very like lonely in a sense. Um, if you know what I'm talking about, I mean, right? But if anybody listens to this at any point and you're kind of in that stage, just know that there are others out there, and a lot of these motherfuckers are probably people that's just staying silent. Even though I'm on YouTube talking, I'm just mostly kind of chilling and bringing up topics and stuff that's like very, very like light level and stuff like that. And I feel like there's a lot of people that probably do that. Excuse me, or they're keeping the information to themselves. I mean, TikTok's a decent place right now for some stuff. Still a little shrouded in keywords and stuff, but um, they're they're trying to get rid of that shit too, right? So it's only a matter of time. And yeah, while there is other websites and stuff like that where people can speak more freely on stuff, I mean, realistically, most of your normies or anybody who wouldn't necessarily discover this information otherwise aren't really traveling to these platforms and stuff a lot. So, I think it's important to, be able to have that on hand, But yeah, so anyways, though, if anybody watched this, do hope you have a good one. And like I say, I don't know if this will be my last video for a little bit, or maybe tomorrow make a fuckload of them. You never know. But anyways, see you guys here soon. And like I say, I got the 100th video coming up soon. And I mentioned this in the last video, and also mentioned I'll do a couple cigarette reviews or just talking about and chilling, smoking, stuff like that. I'm on the channel as well. Kind of got inspired by a viewer, left some comments and stuff. So thanks for that if you watch this. But yeah, so we're gonna try to do some of that stuff as well. Just kind of hanging out, chilling, talking about some stuff. But anyways, though, everybody watched it. Have a good one.